Greetings and salutations, everyone. Yes, we are back with the Lighten Up Brother Podcast with Fuego del Sol. I'm the assassin, AK-47, and you all know we are here to talk positive and wrestling. We've been away for a couple weeks, but we're back. No worries. Talk to the people, Fuego.
Yeah, man, it feels good to be back on Lighten Up Brother with Fuego del Sol. We did take a little bit of a hiatus, holidays, traveling, different things come up. We've been working on our own individual businesses. You've been streaming big on Twitch. I've been traveling around wrestling. We also put out this brand new KBW podcast, so if people know us from back from our KBW days, definitely go to the KBW YouTube channel and check that out. Check out AK on his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/theassassinAK, and check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Fuego del Sol. If you're following us on social media, you already know where all of this is at, so make sure you're following me and following AK. Links will be in the description below, or just search up Fuego or the Assassin AK on any of your favorite socials. I am excited to be back. I had some people messaging me and talking about how they missed the Lighten Up Brother podcast. And we moved to a new channel, which really lessened the amount of views that the full podcast got. But the clips did very well, and I want to continue doing this podcast. I think we change up the format a little bit. I don't want this to feel like a job for me or you. I want people to enjoy wrestling and enjoy listening to people talk about wrestling. And you know what they say? They say people are 10 times more likely to interact and comment on something they disagree with than something they agree with. And I feel like a lot of our listeners are like me and you, the silent majority, right? Where they agree with what we're saying. They don't have anything negative to say about it, so they don't say anything at all. But the feedback is tremendously appreciated. So if you can, comment on the videos, tell us what you like about it, post it on your story on Instagram, post it on X/Twitter. It would be greatly appreciated to let us know who's listening, who wants more, and what they like about the podcast. And we'd greatly appreciate it. Should we jump into some topics, AK?
Oh, for sure. Let's jump right into it. The big topics this week. We got to start with them. It's been fun. It's great to see him back. R-Truth is back in the building and back in WWE. He's all over Raw. I love it so much. And, yeah, it's great. It's great to see him.
The return of R-Truth to Monday Night Raw. What a breath of fresh air R-Truth is to the show. Some people don't like comedy in wrestling, but I believe wrestling is a variety show. If everybody's in super serious storylines, it makes things a little less serious. It has the opposite effect. If everybody is in goofy storylines, then it takes away from the comedy. You're going to have a lot of bad comedy. R-Truth is great at comedy, and he's interacting with the Judgement Day, a serious group. They're reacting to him genuinely. It reminds me a lot of Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. I know it's only a few weeks back, but it has a ton of potential to be so much fun. Truth, 51 years old, still athletic as hell, still can go in the ring, and he's got incredible comedic timing. And he's extremely creative with his dialogue and what he chooses to say and what jokes he chooses to go after. Just super witty, even though he's playing this dumb, goofy character. And I love how he's injected some fresh air back onto Monday Night Raw and into this Judgment Day mini feud. Because Judgment Day is also all over the show feuding with other people. But just to have this little bit of R-Truth injected into that, I am digging it so far. What do you think?
Oh, I'm definitely digging. I'm a huge R-Truth fan. Always have been. He's always there for you when you need a laugh. All the segments he's been through over the years has always been great and funny. He's always there with the comedic timing, like you said. He's there for the comedy aspect of wrestling, and there is a space for it. Not every single wrestler has to be the best in the world. Not every single wrestler has to be like fighting for the top spot every single time. There's also a space in wrestling where wrestlers can be just really, really fucking good and really funny and still make it in the business and sell merchandise and have fans so happy to see them every single week. That's what R-Truth is. Like, I am not upset at all that R-Truth is back on the TV. I know some people might see him as an afterthought, but not for me. I love seeing R-Truth back, and he's so hilarious. And I understand some people might get tired of it eventually, but not not me. I'm all about it right now.
Well, it's just he's been away for so long, so it feels great to like see him back. His comedy, I feel like is missed. Like I said, when sometimes it gets oversaturated and overdone. I don't feel like we're anywhere close to that right now. I feel like if it was just him backstage saying the same goofy thing about being late on everything or saying the wrong thing about the wrong place or the wrong time or the wrong stipulation, it would get tiring. Him interacting with the Judgment Day feels so fresh and it's so entertaining. Like you said, you could have the greatest wrestler in the world, but you need some variety in your entertainment. And I feel like R-Truth is the best part of that. But speaking of big returns and breaths of fresh air. Jesus, got tongue-tied there. We got the return of the phenomenal AJ Styles. And let me tell you, the J in AJ stands for jacked. Jacked. Because he's jacked, bro. He's yoked. He's big. He come back. Listen. If you watch the video, he definitely is in better shape. He doesn't look as jacked as he looked in that screenshot that everybody was posting on X, Right, the bicep was popping, the chest is popping. The perception and the angle was just right. He doesn't look like he's overly yoked. I don't think it has the perception of like Orton coming back. Orton looked gigantic when he returned at Survivor Series. But I guess they're gonna turn him heel. He attacked LA Knight after attacking the Bloodline, which there's a lot of over baby faces right now, and maybe they do need some more heels besides the Bloodline, top heels, I should say, besides the Bloodline over on SmackDown. But it definitely when someone goes and gets yoked like that after a little time off, you can tell that they wanted a little more. You know what I'm saying? They're focused a little harder. So even though I saw some discourse online about AJ Styles maybe not having it like he used to, or there's nothing that he's done since COVID that has like really got people talking, right. I think he's coming back motivated and to show some people how good he truly is. He's still one of the best in the world at 46 years old.
Yeah, it's amazing to see him again, right? I remember I was with you, I think, when he
oh my God, dude! Royal Rumble 2013. Me and you, 2015. Jesus, Royal Rumble 2015. You were living up here in Oklahoma with me, and we were watching it. We both lose our mind as he comes out.
Yeah, because it was like speculated, right? It was like a big rumor, maybe. Yeah, and it was like maybe it's gonna. It's like, but that was one of the biggest returns because that's one of the first time we seen someone really from a big company come over. Yeah, we had
saw AJ. We saw Samoa Joe in NXT, but
right.
AJ was the first one on the main roster, keeping his name and everything else. So it was really cool.
Yeah, and also the song.
Oh yeah, they don't want none.
They don't want none. It's like I am phenomenal. It was so dope. That experience that when he first came back to WWE. Now that he's back, he's even more jacked. Like you said, of course. The online discourse is going to take it and run with it, because that's what they do on the internet. Oh, someone's huge now, they automatically go to drug supplements and oh, he's definitely taking something. That's the automatic reply to everything now. But regardless, he looks great. He looks ready to go. I love the heel angle aspect. I like that he's going to come back heel. I like a mean AJ Styles, especially him coming back looking jacked. So I'm all about it, and I'm excited to see where the story goes with AJ.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic about it. I think I like babyface AJ more than I like heel AJ, but like I said, he definitely comes back. He's coming back looking like he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
So I definitely can't wait to. I'm a wait and see guy. You know how I say it every week. I'm a wait and see guy, and I can't wait to wait and see this.
Of course. Well, I think we can move on from that. I mean, it's not much really. He made his comeback, and we're excited to see where it goes from there. So let's move on to see what we got next. We got three-way tie in the Continental Classic.
Yes, the in the Gold League. I confuse the Gold and the Blue League. I'm pretty sure it's the Gold League, right? I thought Jon Moxley had this in the bag. I thought for sure he goes undefeated and wins the Gold League of the Continental Classic. And now we have a three-way tie between Jon Moxley Swerve Strickland, and Jay White. Jay White beats Jon Moxley clean in the middle of the ring on the main event of Dynamite. That does not happen often. We should not overlook it. It is a big deal when Jon Moxley's shoulders are on the mat for 3 seconds.
No doubt.
And now it sets up an interesting 3-way tie. These were the 3 in this bracket that I thought could win. I was like, man, how are they going to have Swerve lose when he's coming off this big Hangman thing? How are they going to have Moxley lose? How are they going to have Jay White lose when he just came off fighting MJF and he needs to bounce back? And this is the perfect way to do it. This is Swerve versus Jay versus Moxley. You're going to have a triple threat match most likely. You're going to see who and now it creates it's one less loss for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not as bad to lose a triple threat match as it is to lose a singles match. And so I think it created an interesting angle. Plus, shout out to Jay White popping me by ending Dynamite doing the Swerve dance. He was dancing like, nah. It was great. So I feel like this Continental Classic has been better than people have thought it was going to be. I mean, you get great matches on TV. That's what you want. I said it a few weeks ago. When wrestling is at its best, you take a top guy who doesn't look like he can lose and put him against another top guy who doesn't look like he could lose. And you put them together. That creates tension. That creates excitement. And that creates matches where we don't know who's going to win. And when you don't know who's going to win, that makes for the best match and story. And that's what this Continental Classic has given us. I mean, there was definitely some guys in each bracket that you knew was there to lose and take some pins. Even if you look at over in the other bracket, my boy Daniel Garcia hasn't won a match. He's got one more match left, and he could potentially ruin. He can ruin someone else. He can ruin Brody King's chances to even get into like a tiebreaker situation. So hoping that DG can get that win over there on that side. We almost got a potential tie over there on that side too, even a 4-way tie if Eddie Kingston can beat Andrade. So him, Danielson, Claudio, Andrade, and Kingston, which Kingston feels like he needs it because he is the Ring of Honor World Champion. It's a lot of math for people who don't like math in wrestling. It's a lot of time-consuming effort to try to keep up with all the matches. And when you have so many good matches like that, it oversaturates the market, and matches don't get a chance to really stand out as much as they probably should. Like Swerve versus Roosh to open up Dynamite last night was phenomenal, but it'll probably be forgotten in a few weeks, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just oversaturated with too much good wrestling. But I wasn't high on the Continental Classic at first, and I waited around, and I like it more the longer it's went. It does feel like it consumes most of Dynamite in Collision. It doesn't feel like we've had enough time for other stories, or it feels like the only other story they focused on besides that is the Devil storyline in MJF. So it's been up and down for me for a couple weeks, but I do feel like overall it's more of a positive than it is a negative.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot going into it. I know a lot of people, if they're not into the Classic like right now, then they're like, well, and they're not into the Devil thing right now, then maybe they're not.
Yeah, maybe they checked out.
AEW.
Yeah, maybe they've checked out. You're
exactly.
Right.
And like you said, most people don't want to do the math. Like a lot of people, when they sit down on their couch after work, they don't want to just now I got to think again. Now I got to put things together. Like what's going on here? Sometimes people just need something very easy and simple to digest. And when you have all this math going on, like who's this and who's that, and all right, now I got to put this together. Now this guy's going up against this guy now. Now it's a tie. It's like, what's going on? But it's so good. The wrestling is so great. You get captivated by the wrestling, but then again, the wrestling is so great. And it gets probably too much sometimes. You're like, well, it all just blurs together. And maybe you leave the show like, damn, that was a lot of great wrestling, but I'm tired. I don't know. I can't remember it all. So it's definitely a balance they need to address, that they need to. But like you said, I'm super excited about Swerve, Moxley, Jay White in the ring together, triple threat. Don't know who's going to win that match, right? And who's going to take the pin? Who's going to take the fall there? Like that's intriguing to me. And how are they going to set it up? And who's going to eventually, get the W there, which is very, very intriguing and exciting to me. I know a lot of people who aren't as into the classic, who aren't as into, like, kind of tired of the Devil storyline. What else are they getting from AEW? And I can understand that feedback as well.
Absolutely. That's the only problem with the Devil storyline, is that it's just pulling you in too many different directions. It feels like we don't have a clear indicator of who it is, and then every week he's introducing a new person of who it could be. He's confronting people. It dilutes the severity of the storyline when you get too many ingredients, into the dish. It's I don't want it to spoil the dish. Hopefully at World's End we have the climax conclusion, the answers that we all want, and hopefully, and I know it's still not going to be satisfying for enough people.
Right.
But again, I try to be optimistic. And I'm gonna reserve judgment and wait and see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just gotta wait and see. But a lot of people are kind of tired of the wait and see. Maybe they're like, hey, we've been waiting and seeing for months now, and like it's not really going where we wanted to go. And I know AEW is on a lot of scrutiny right now. Like, they lost like a big guy. See, with WWE, that was a big thing.
Let me ask you this: who are the top baby faces in AEW right now? Who are you excited to watch right now in AEW that's a babyface?
Heyman. I think Heyman.
Yeah, he got took out. He wasn't even on the show this week.
I know, but I feel like he needs to come back in the big way.
I agree. Give me somebody else.
That's the main. Moxley, I would say. He's big there.
That I like Danielson Moxley, but they are tweeners right now, right? Claudio just won with a low blow on Collision last week.
That's true.
They keep doing this back and forth thing with the BCC, and I am not a fan of it.
Mm-hmm. Orange Cassidy.
Orange is fun to watch, and like he's gonna put on good matches, right? So I like Orange Hangman for sure.
But then again, now you get to the point where who else?
Maybe Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston, yeah, I was gonna say Eddie too, but
compared to WWE, they are severely lacking in top over baby faces. You know who I like cheering for the most right now in AEW? Swerve Strickland.
Yeah, and
he's a bad guy.
Exactly. So,
like, MJF is supposedly their top baby face, but because you put all this intrigue around, you teaming him with a heel and Samoa Joe, it's still a possibility he could be the devil. So it's like, is he a babyface? Is he not? I feel like just compared to WWE, that's why it feels like AEW's lacking, because WWE is stacked right now with top baby faces. That's why maybe we should transition. We've talked about the Continental Classic. I want to talk about CM Punk. I want to talk about Jey Uso. I want to talk about some of these top baby faces over here on the WWE side of things.
And we can talk about that. And also, I want to go back a little bit. Just want to say this. Like, times are changing now. Like back then, you really hated someone. Like, you couldn't stand. Like, when they were healing it up, like, you wanted them gone. Like, you wanted them off your screen. Like, it fired you up, right? But nowadays, we see it in TV all the time. Everyone likes the villains. Like, we love the Joker. We love Homelander from The Boys. We love watching these people do evil things. I don't know what it says about society right now, but that's the way it is. A lot of people are more intrigued by the charismaticness of the villains, and a lot of people connect more with the villains because they feel like they have like a deeper story, like a deeper meaning. And also with the villains, they have like maybe a redeeming quality in them that maybe one day they'll switch to the other side. That's a big thing, a story thread you can follow. And I feel like a lot of people are just more captivated right now by heels. And yes, they are heels and should be, not cheered for, but in today's age, they are cheered for. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's just hard to find that balance of where a true heel, like a shit-faced heel that's really, really like getting booed, like, switching over to WWE side, we got to talk about Dom, Dirty Dom. That dude is a heel. Like, he gets booed out the building, and which is what you want as a heel. But lots of people say, well, that's a lot of people want to spin. So, well, let's go away. Like we don't even want him on the screen. We want him like not even on the show.
I disagree. I don't think he has to go away heat. I think it did start a little bit as go away heat, and he turned it into real heat.
Exactly, and that's what true heels should be doing. But also, it's hard when Swerve is just so captivating. He's so good. It's like you can't help but not like him. But he's also a dick and like super.
That's
shitty.
the thing, right? So it's like your heel in a way cannot be an underdog. If we feel like the heel is an underdog, then we want to cheer the heel. And Swerve hasn't been world champion. Swerve wants to be world champion. Swerve has never been a real main event guy. Swerve is just now entering the main event scene. It's new. It's fresh. He feels like an underdog, even though... And he's charismatic. And he can wrestle great. And, he's doing all the right things. So, like, that's the thing. Is like, you should not have that underdog quality. But they're in desperate need of top bad guy heels that can be main eventers that feel new. And he's the newest of them all right now. But you're right. Just aside in the whole, the world is not black and white. There's a lot of shades of gray, and people can relate to people in shades of gray. Plus, the world knows that wrestling is not real, So it's like you respect the effort he's putting in so much, committing to the role of heel and how well he plays it. Like he's broke into Nick Wayne's house, he's broke into Hangman's house, he choked out Hangman. Right? They had one of the most violent matches I've ever seen on TV and choked him out. A top babyface, beat him twice. It's crazy, right? So I understand why he's been an underdog. He's super cool, and his trajectory seems to just be skyrocketing. And so, like when you add all of those ingredients together, it makes for a spectacular dish of a pro wrestler named Swerve.
Right, and like I said, I'm not mad at it at all. That's just how things are going right now. And today's, like I said, society and today's age.
Yeah, I don't want to cut you off. I just mean that compared to the over baby faces we got in WWE right now, I feel like that's why the product over there seems hotter than it is over here. Plus, I feel like for a while AEW was plagued with backstage bullshit, consuming the news and splitting the audience. And so it's going to take a minute to course correct. And I feel like they're going that way, and I feel like after World's End, we'll have better direction, hopefully. But yeah, again, let's jump over to WWE side of things, right? Like, top baby faces you got over there right now. CM Punk, right?
Yep.
Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, Randy Orton. That's 8 top baby faces right there that you got. Did I say Kevin Owens? Like that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
but like even his stock felt like him and Sammy's both has dropped a hair. Not a lot, but just like you have all those other guys ahead of them. Catchphrases are going nuts right now. You gotta love a good catchphrase. You know me, I'm a catchphrase guy. Anything you can have the fans say or sing along to, it makes sense. Right? It feels good. And then even your top heels feel big. Drew McIntyre turning heel was fresh. The Judgment Day, fresh. The Bloodline still finding a way to be fresh. Now you got AJ Styles back, top heel. You just feel like you got a lot of top characters that don't feel like... Shinsuke is refreshed in his heel run. And it doesn't, like... Because AEW has a lot of top guys like that. They just feel like they're not used often or well enough to feel like top guys. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you don't use them enough, it hurts the overall appeal of them and feel of them. And
let me ask you this. Do you feel like the 3-hour show of Raw gives them more time than the 2-hour show of Dynamite, or do you think that's irrelevant? That, because Raw does have an extra
No,
hour,
I feel like 3 hours is more of a detriment than it is a plus. I feel like Raw, just because it's 3 hours doesn't mean it's utilizing people to the best of their ability. I didn't even mention Gunther, right? One of the best things going right now. I feel like storyline wise, they're not afraid to put top guys versus top guys, where AEW has felt like it's been avoiding that for a hot minute on TV. You know? They're not saving the biggest matches for pay-per-views. Now AEW almost overcorrected by doing the Continental Classic and putting all of these guys on. Now the wins don't feel as meaningful because of the point system, like, as they should feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Jay White beats John Mox on a pay-per-view, it's 10 times more, you know, or just without the Continental Classic. It feels more impactful than it does in the tournament style, because it feels like Moxley still has a chance to win it all. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's where it's not even the time difference, the extra hour that's helping. It's just their willingness to put top guys versus top guys, and that means clear story direction for your top guys. Maybe AEW has too many top guys, which then lessens the appeal of all the top guys. And then you really only have, and then like it feels like they're hot-shotting stories and matches onto the pay-per-view to try to get everybody on. You know what I'm saying?
And we got to mention Will Ospreay. He's in AEW now.
But he hasn't been. He's not going to be there until January. He's not going to be there till the new year, right? We touched on it a couple weeks ago.
Guy,
exactly. Does it feel oversaturated? Does it feel like, you know, it's something they have to figure out. But I do not want to be pessimistic or down about the product, because I do feel like things have changed in a good way. But
and unfortunately, you know, Kenny got you know, his situation and go be out for a while. So that's
big shout out to Kenny Omega. Big shout out to Kenny Omega. I feel horrible that he's injured with diverticulitis. I wish him a speedy recovery, and I know you feel the same way. He's one of. I want to make sure we put that in there, because as we talk about top guys in AEW, I don't want to seem like we left him out, because I know he's dealing with, you know, health issues. Well, I mean, if in our short time of doing this podcast, I feel like we've sung the praises of Kenny Omega and called him one of the best in the world on a weekly basis. And so from Lighten Up Brother, me and you both, we send him all the love and well wishes that we can.
Let's talk CM Punk.
Yeah, I definitely said at the beginning of this podcast I didn't want a fantasy book, but I don't want a fantasy book now. I just want to think, okay, what is the most likely scenarios for WrestleMania right now? Because we're about to hit the road to WrestleMania. You know, we've already had people announce Royal Rumble things, right? And so it's like, with Punk back, he says he wants to main event WrestleMania. Cody wants to finish the story. What? It seems like we're building to a Rollins versus Punk Mania, right? Am I wrong?
Well, my thing is now, since WrestleMania is split in 2 days, they can both main event WrestleMania.
Exactly. Exactly. Which is kind of ironic, because years ago, Punk told MJF, I hope you go there and you can main event night one of a buy one, get one free. But, it's very ironic when you think about that. But I think Punk, Seth, night one main, and then Roman, Cody, night two main. Is that what you're thinking?
I'm thinking, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I think so.
And then I also think something happens in the Royal Rumble with Jay and Jimmy, and that leads to Jay versus Jimmy at WrestleMania. Do you agree?
That'd be a dope match.
Okay.
So
I think LA Knight faces Logan Paul at WrestleMania for the United States Championship.
Yep.
Right?
That'd be a banger.
Okay. So we still got Drew McIntyre. Gunther. We still got Gunther. We still got Randy Orton.
Rhea Ripley, of course.
Well, I'm just talking about the men right now. I'm just like, where do all of these people fit in? Is my thing.
Yeah, Orton's a big one for me, because like if we go have Cody going against Roman and Punk going against Seth, where's Orton at in all this?
Yeah, it's like, who is a top heel he can face on SmackDown? You got Solo Sikoa. Solo. I could see them two wrestling each other if he costs Orton at this next pay-per-view. I'm trying to think of any big returns that might happen that could, and then Gunther, I thought for sure we were building to Gable earlier this year. Now I don't know. Maybe Sami Zayn versus Gunther. because Sammy's hot. You know, I'm really unsure. I'm really unsure about where some of these top baby faces land.
But the Royal Rumble's going to answer out most of those questions, I feel like. So
I think CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble. I think it's clear as day he gets the Rumble. I just don't know where all the chips fall. However, I am enjoying Triple H's booking, and I trust it, and I am optimistic about it.
Yeah, I'm optimistic about it too. I trust Triple H. I'm pretty sure I don't know, maybe it's... I always get into this thing when I think maybe it's too predictable that Punk wins, but then again, it's like, I feel like he maybe has to at this point. Like, it just feels like it's
He's never won it.
That's true.
Yeah, he's never won it, never main event at Mania. This guarantees both of those. Cody won it last year. I don't feel like he needs to win it back-to-back.
Right. So, I for sure just... maybe predictable, but I feel like it has to happen. So, yeah, I think it's going to... CM Punk's going to win it.
And then that becomes a whole variety of things of what could happen. How does Cody get into the Roman match? Does he go over to SmackDown? If they do an Elimination Chamber, does he steal somebody's spot in the Elimination Chamber? Does he win the Elimination Chamber? Like, what happens on that side, you know? But, like, I could easily see Solo, AJ, Roman... I'm not wrong. Solo, AJ, Randy... LA Knight, Kevin Owens, all in this elimination chamber, you know, and then Cody finds a way to sneak in or something like that. Absolutely. Again, that's too much fantasy booking, and like I said, I don't want to do all that. But like, we still got to figure out something for Gunther, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, you know. So I'm interested to see where all the chips fall.
Me too, and
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we'll get most of the answers after the Royal Rumble, and we'll kind of see where the timeline will be headed to after that. But I think we'll talk about Jey Uso. We talked about it a little bit, that him and Jimmy could possibly have a one-on-one match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, well, now that Gunther is done with The Miz, and Jey Uso made the save for Kofi against Imperium, do we see Jey attempt to wrestle Gunther? Does Jimmy get involved in that at the Rumble or Day One? Like, we don't know where all of this is going to lead to, but I like that Jey is not just constantly mixing up with Drew and those other guys from the Survivor Series War Games match. Now we have a different direction. He would come to the aid of Kofi. He's messing with Imperium. Maybe that's planting the seeds to him versus Gunther. For at least for now. Maybe not for Mania, but at least for Rumble Day One-ish, you know?
Mm-hmm. And also something we didn't touch on, you know, going back to WrestleMania predictions, you know, Shinsuke, he's in a rivalry right now with Cody, but Cody is eventually, you know, what we're saying is going to move on to Roman at WrestleMania. So what is Shinsuke going to do after the rivalry with Cody right now?
There's a lot of wild cards. That's what I'm saying. Luckily, there's 2 nights, but like, it seems like someone's going to get left off the list. Like, you look at somebody like Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits over on SmackDown, and it seems like they barely had anything to do. I mean, they've been having matches, but it hasn't been anything of real meaning. You know, he's in this tournament to maybe wrestle Logan Paul, but, you know, so is Carmelo Hayes, who are doing some really good things with it. You know, they brought him up to the main roster. Kevin Owens is in that right now, too. But it just seems like, even with as many over guys as we have, you can't help but somebody's going to get disappointed and lost in the shuffle and not get something big that you want them to get.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think we can move on from Jay and CM Punk and WWE. Let's switch it back to AEW. Let's talk about some women, Toni Storm and Riho.
Yeah, Toni Storm, timeless Toni Storm. It never ceases to amaze. Maybe the most creative thing going in wrestling. They find something new to do with her every week to really delve deeper into this timeless character. You know, this throwback Marilyn Monroe, you know, 60s type showgirl actress. I like it all.
Me too.
They had her on commentary, and every time they cut to her on commentary, the screen's black and white, but when they cut back to the Riho match, it was back to color. Yes. I thought that was funny. Plus, there's some interest in this Mariah May thing of where it will lead to, or eventually lead to. I'm glad Riho is back. It's a good challenger for Toni, but I don't think right now Toni is losing that title anytime soon.
Yeah. She's still hot, but she's just on top of the world basically with her game.
Oh yeah. And I think that sets up a really fun match because people forget that Toni can still go in the ring. She's been so character heavy right now that people maybe have forgot how good she is in ring. So her versus Riho at World's End is going to be good for sure.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see Toni in the ring because we all know she can go, and her character now backing up her wrestling is just going to be incredible. But like you said, she's not losing that title anytime soon. But I'm excited to see the match, nonetheless. But I think we're going to move on to Thunder Rosa with the return.
Yeah, man. After over a year-long hiatus, Thunder Rosa made the save for Abaddon, of all people, on Collision.
Yeah.
You know, Sky Blue and Julia Hart have somewhat aligned as forces together. And who makes the save? The returning Thunder Rosa. The landscape of the women's division has changed completely. The landscape of AEW has changed completely over the last, I don't know, what has it been, 14, 15 months since Thunder Rosa's wrestled? She relinquished her title.
A lot has happened when she's been gone, so...
Yeah, I mean, even the people that was atop of the division is no longer atop of the division in some cases, you know? So, I'm interested to see what she does. Like, people forget how good Thunder Rosa is. Again, some backstage drama with her and Britt Baker caused a lot of bitterness, and then you had that AEW that backstage show that you know where the women's division was kind of mad that she was holding up the division, and I think it hurt her confidence, her injury, and all of that really hurt her desire to return to professional wrestling. But it seems like she's got that back. She got this new blonde look that really looks good on her. And her and Abaddon versus Sky Blue and Julia Hart is as fresh of a matchup as you can make. And it happens this Saturday on Collision. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope her all the best.
Yeah, I hope her all for the best as well. I'm so excited to see Thunder Rosa back. It's been so long. When you say 15 months, like, man, it's really been that long since we've seen Thunder Rosa in AEW. And it just felt surreal that seeing her back. And, like, it really felt like a big return because of how long it's been, So I'm excited to see where they go with her, and the women's division is definitely, I would say, better the fact that she's in there because I think Thunder Rosa is incredible.
I agree completely. I think she definitely elevates the division up to another level, and I'm excited to see where things go next. We also had a great Collision street fight. I feel like it's been an annual thing in AEW where they have a women's tag match street fight, and Willow and Chris Statlander versus Diamante and Diamante and oh my god, I'm going mind blank. Oh my god.
I don't know either. I'm trying to think.
Give me a second. It starts. Oh god. Oh my god. Why am I going mind blank right now? I got it.
Well, now you got me now that I can't think of it.
Mercedes Martinez. Oh my god, bro! What a fumble. Yeah, Diamante and Mercedes Martinez versus Willow and Statlander was phenomenal. Really good. I really enjoyed it on Collision, and I'm glad they're doing this annual tag match. Gives women a chance to be violent, and I feel like they picked the right women for it. I enjoyed it tremendously on Collision last Saturday.
It was great, and like you said, I'm glad they did that. Always great to see women get a little bit violent. A lot of people think it's too much, but I'm all for it, and yeah, it was great.
And then
mostly every second of it.
Yeah, I feel like the women's division in AEW is taking an interesting direction, but one that I am intrigued by. But another match I want to talk about, another group I want to talk about, we had the return of Dante Martin a few weeks ago. Sir. Top Flight with Andretti now clicking on all cylinders. They had a banger against the Lucha Boys up on Rampage last Friday night. Them versus Pentagon Commander and Vikingo. And now it sets them up for a 6-man title shot versus the Acclaimed this coming Saturday on Collision. Now, I feel like they're future champions, but because they have this title shot so quickly, do they win? Do they get the titles off the Acclaimed? I feel like they're hot. I feel like Dante being back is fresh. I feel like they're putting on such good matches that I kind of want to see them win Saturday.
I do want to see them win, but do you think, though, I don't know if this plays into it at all, because, Darius was out for a while, and Dante was out for a while. Top Flight just hasn't really been able to, really be a tag team for a long time just because injuries. Do you think, in back of people's minds, are they injury prone? Too injury prone to put the titles on right now? Or do you want to wait and see more of them having more matches? That way they get back in their groove instead of putting titles
is
on.
Bryan Danielson injury prone?
I guess so. I guess you could say so, yeah.
But I don't feel like AEW's ever had a problem having interim champions or vacating the title when necessary. And I don't think you can hinder somebody's career right now, If it happened one more time, maybe. But the first time was a wrestling injury for Darius, and then he got in a real bad car accident. The second time was a wild bump by Dante that broke his leg. I think Dante's going to be smarter about the bumps he takes. I think Darius is going to be smarter in cars. I don't think you can think that way. I think if there was ever a time to do it, it's right now. Strap them up. The Acclaimed have cooled off.
I want them to have the titles.
The Acclaimed is still great, but they've cooled off. And Babyfaces as champions, only are good enough until the next underdog comes around. And the next underdog is here, and it's Top Flight and Andretti. And it feels like if you want to establish this act, you strap up Top Flight.
But yeah, just to make things clear, I want them to have the straps, and I want them to beat the Acclaim. I was just bringing that up just in case.
It's a valid point because people will say that.
Yeah. And I just didn't know if that was a worry that Tony Khan has. I don't know if that's in his mind at all. If that, because I would love for them to get the championship and have a great run, because unfortunately we just didn't have Top Flight together long enough because of these unfortunate events that's happened to the tag team. And it'd be really sucky to be like, well, since these things happen, we can't put the titles on you. I wouldn't want that to happen to them. So I'm like, hey, give them a shot. Give them the tag team belts. I'm pretty sure they're straight now. They're healthy. Give them a run.
Don't worry, dog. They're so young. They're barely...
That's true.
They're in their early 20s. You're going to get 10, 15, 20 years worth of Top Flight. So you don't have to worry about that.
I know.
And I know for a fact Tony Khan loves Top Flight. And so I don't see that being a worry at all.
All right. I agree. Like I said, I just want to bring it up because it might be in other people's minds, and I didn't know for sure how Tony Khan felt about it. But like you said, he loves Top Flight, so I'm pretty sure they will get the straps on their shoulders, around their waists, very, very soon.
Yeah, definitely a valid concern. I understand completely. What else is on the agenda? I feel like that. I don't want to do a rapid fire this week. We're already 42 minutes in. Mm-hmm. I'll go ahead and give what I believe is the match of the week. And I want to say it's... Oh, God. We really didn't even touch on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view that happened because there were some bangers on that. But, again, we're oversaturated with good wrestling. I really enjoyed Swerve versus Roosh. I feel like it slapped at the beginning of Dynamite. But a part of me wants to give it to the 6-man on Rampage, Dante.
I was thinking about that one.
I mean, you know what? Let us know in the comments below. What is your match of the week this week? We'll let you decide. And
decide for us.
Make sure you read the comments below and make sure you like the one that you believe is the match of the week. Do you have an independent wrestler of the week you want to shout out?
Let's see. Who can you go ahead? Because I'm thinking right now. I'm trying to think. I've said so many so far. So I'm trying to because like I said, it's been 2 weeks. I don't want to repeat the same one, so I'm trying to think all the ones I've said already. Make sure.
My independent wrestler of the week is a guy named Clayton Bloodstone. Clayton Bloodstone is a guy who's been traveling around with me and working very hard on his physique and trying to make connections here in the Texas, Oklahoma area, and has even been traveling farther than that. He's showed up on Reality of Wrestling down there for Booker T. If you haven't checked out Reality of Wrestling on YouTube, check them out. It's Booker T's promotion in Houston. But I am a big fan of his work, and he's been riding with me and putting in work. So shout out to Clayton Bloodstone.
I want to think I'll shout out Kid Bandit, LGBTQ Wrestler of the Year. So shout out to Kid Bandit. They have been amazing. And like
Am I
said,
going crazy, or did you already pick Bandit one week?
I have not picked Bandit. I have.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so, but I'm picking them now, and for good reason. Like I said, LGBTQ Wrestler of the Year. They have been great, and I'm so happy for them because, like I said, I was in Nightmare Factory with them. Like we trained together, so to see them, up that echelon and be so good and have all these achievements in such a very young career, I gotta shout them out. A lot of people know of them, and huge shout out to Kid Bandit. So
yeah, shout out to Kid Bandit for sure. Definitely check out all of us on socials. Check out the KBW podcast. If you remember us from KBW, check out my Instagram and AK's Instagram, my Twitter, AK's Twitter, the TikTok page, and make sure you subscribe and tell a friend. Let us know that you like the podcast. Follow AK on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch, and we will see you next Thursday for the next Lighten Up Brother with Fuego del Sol.